We're gonna have a family chat because this is family, and I have permission to say the things I probably wouldn't normally say. I'm gonna be more vulnerable with you than I prepared to be, but it's because I think God wants me to encourage you from some of the more intimate parts of my last couple years. And it was 7.5 years ago that y'all sent me off to YWAM. And like Mary Beth said, you've been supporting me since then. And I am right now, 7.5, almost 8 years later, relaunching out into missions. But it's going to look different this time around. And I'm in a different space. I'm in a different place in my own heart. I'm in a different season of my life. And I want to cast vision for you today of what God has been doing in me. And I also just want to invite you, as I'm sharing my story, hear my story through your own prophetic lens of your life, because this is what I know God has said about this season that we are in. This is a building season for the church. I've heard a number of prophetic words. I know it very deep inside of me. God has given blueprints to many of you in this house. Some of you are called to build businesses, ministries, etc. in this season. And so as I share with you my very raw story of the business/ministry I am building right now, I want you to hear God's breath over your story, because we have a short window of time as the body of Christ to build our new systems and structures so that we can meet the needs of the world before crisis comes. He's given us a window of time to build and to establish for what's to come. There's probably 3 different titles I could give this, and that's because there's too many things we're going to talk about. The catchy ChatGPT title is Seed in the Ground, Harvest in the Nations, When God Funds What He Authors. But my own personal title is Breaking Self-Sufficiency So God Can Use You. When God sent me off to YWAM the first time around, I didn't realize how much self needed to get out of the way so God could use me. I had just finished 2 master's degrees while working 3 jobs. I was incredibly burnt out. And for the last 8 years of my life, God has been stripping away self-sufficiency from me, because if we want to walk in a miraculous, supernatural lifestyle year-round, we have to learn to live in a land of constant impossibility. And our own personal skills, our own personal resources, our own personal strength, energy, reserves, money will never help us walk on water, because walking on water requires that we use the laws of heaven, disobeying the laws of gravity, disobeying the laws of the kingdom of earth. It requires a higher level of access, a higher level of power. And so I want to share a very unconventional journey with you that may make me look very foolish, but I know I've heard the voice of the Lord. So let's jump in. Today, we're going to talk about money. And it's not because I'm going to ask you for money at the end, though you will have an opportunity. Believe it or not, I had planned to talk to you about something completely different, and then I had a dream. And in the dream, I heard myself saying, today I want to talk to you about money. And I'm like, okay, Lord, we're going to talk about money. Because no one gets to sit on a high horse when they're partnering with God for financial provision. Everybody has to go lower still and lower still, and you have to count the cost, and you have to die to yourself if you really want to walk in supernatural finances for the things God has called you to build. So we're learning about walking by faith and not by sight, and how God will fund the work He has authored. A scripture that really encompasses this journey for me is Psalm 126, 5-6. They who sow in tears shall reap with joyful singing. He who goes back and forth weeping, carrying his bag of seed for planting, will indeed come again with a shout of joy, bringing his sheaves with him. I never understood why I would cry through sowing until I was in a season where I had nothing left to my name, and the Lord said, "Sow, Sheridan." And I said, "Lord, I have nothing left to my name." And He said, "Sow." So when you're in a place where you have nothing, and it's just the widow's mite, and the Lord says, release what's in your hand, that's when God can finally use you, when you've come to the end of your own sufficiency, and it's not my will, but yours be done. You have to be willing to go beyond all human reason, to walk on the water, because there is no human reason that's allowed on walking on the waves. It requires total abandonment, total surrender to everything that our mind can rationalize. I remember my brother Joel telling me he was in a season where he needed a financial increase, and they were givers. I'm a giver. It's generosities in our family. But he had this encounter with God, and God told him, you know how the kingdom works. And then instantly he had a mental little video play through his mind where he saw someone waiting for a harvest when they never sowed a seed. And God was telling Joel, if you want a harvest, you have to sow a seed. And so before the increase came, Joel instantly started giving more. He started paying his lawn man more. He started sowing more in the offering, and it was sacrificial. And what do you know? He ended up getting the biggest raise. And it wasn't just a raise for him, it was a raise for his whole department, because God gave him the wisdom to advocate to superiors at the hospital. And because of Joel's sacrifice in the moment, it led to a return on his investment. Unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. I feel like I spent too much of my life, and I know I'm only 30, but I spent too much of my life laboring in vain. And I feel like God has had to sit me back for a season, not doing nothing, but also not doing everything, to show me that he's the one who has to establish the house. I can't do it this time around. I already burned out in my 20s, and I've taken years to kind of rebuild my own physical reserves in my own body to be able to just live and work and do a normal life. And so as I'm signing up for missions again, I'm saying, Lord, it's got to be you who builds it this time. It can't be my vision. It can't be my strength or my resources. Probably 10 to 15 years ago, when I was in undergrad, and I was waking up to the supernatural, and I was seeing a lot of healings and witnessing to people and just really growing bolder in my faith. I was at this prayer meeting, and someone gave me a word, someone who did not know my name. I've never seen him before, wouldn't recognize him if I saw him today. He said, you are a radical one, and you have a radical calling. God's really captured your heart in such a way that nothing would stop you from sharing good news. God has made you strong in social influence. You are a disciple who makes disciples who make disciples, and you have a long-term vision for real discipleship and transformation. I knew he was speaking to me then, but it was before God would ever position me to walk in that. I just knew God was saying, you're going to have a radical calling. I knew I was willing to give everything for the gospel, but I didn't know what that would mean. Well, fast forward 10 to 15 years later, I'm starting to get a glimpse as God has called me to the nations, but he's also called me to be a digital content creator and put myself out there on the internet and influence hearts and minds for the gospel and make disciples. So I want to talk to you. I'll give you a brief recap of my journey. I want you to know as I'm stepping out into missions, it's the international missions, but also the missions movement is being redefined as digital missions. God has called me to be a missionary to the internet, and so I'm going to be largely talking about that today. Early COVID in 2020, I was at YWAM and started getting prophetic words and dreams about making videos on the internet to encourage young people. And after a few months of praying, I felt like the Lord said, start a YouTube channel. And so my first video on YouTube, I made a 5-minute video encouraging people on how to survive COVID. And that was the start. And in that season, I was like, Lord, why am I doing a YouTube channel when I'm working for YWAM? Well, there were slow times on base, and I was like, I feel bad because I should be like working for YWAM, but you're telling me to do this YouTube channel. I was still doing mission stuff. It just wasn't full time. And I had a dream one night, and God said to me, you are an employee of the kingdom of heaven first. You report to me, and basically, like, I sign your paychecks. And it changed the way I thought. I'm like, okay, I'm working for God, and he tells me what to do, and I do it. And so I started building a YouTube channel, and for years it was just discipleship, worship, evangelism, healing, mission stuff. But then, and you guys remember this because I spoke in the last year or two at Sheridan Church about it. I had this season where God stripped the fear of man off of me, or at least a major chunk of the fear of man came off of me, and God started giving me the boldness to start having the hard conversations on the internet. And so I've started putting my master's in political science to use on my YouTube channel, and my channel is now about where faith meets culture. Still all of the faith and the discipleship content, but also addressing hot topic issues in culture. I'm going to tell you a couple of the topics that encompasses. Guys, I have too many notes. You're going to have to pray for me. Because when I'm going to speak, I prepare. I'm a planner. Okay. In no particular order, here are things that I have made videos about on the internet. Exposing the dark underbelly of the IVF industry. I don't know if you knew this, but IVF industry ends more lives than the abortion industry, which makes it the #1 loss of human life across the board in America. It's greater than heart disease, greater than anything else. So I've been doing research on that. I made a video about the moral collapse of the Democratic Party. And it's not about, are you a Republican, are you a Democrat? No, from a kingdom perspective, where are Christians supposed to align themselves politically? And breaking down line by line, this is where the party has drifted, and this is why if you're a Christian, you can no longer choose this party. I don't care if you go independent, I don't care if you start your own party, but you're called to a standard. I made a video on America's alignment with Israel. My dad did that with me. I recently made a video on my own journey of overcoming LGBT temptations. Not everyone stumbles into the lifestyle, but everyone is tempted with sin in a variety of areas. And I felt like God said, you need to share your story of overcoming lesbian temptation. It will reach people. And just one girl who commented on that video said, she said, "Oof, girl, preach, sheesh. This is so good and very healing, and the tools you've given to me and others is rare. May God bless you greatly for sharing this." I just filmed a video, and I have not posted it yet, but on ethnic and gender pride and idolatry, when people elevate their gender or their race above the cross. Guys, there is no topic that is off limits, and some of you may even try to cancel me if you watch enough of my videos. But when I say I am compelled by the Lord, I'm compelled by the Lord. 2 years ago, I would have never had any of these conversations. And there's also been a lot of faith-based topics. I can't tell you how many people have watched my video on breaking free from legalism, how many testimonies have come in that it's really changed people's lives because they've struggled with legalism, or overcoming suicide. I walked through suicidal ideation and just sharing my story. Like, people need living hope. And because I'm willing to put myself out there, even though I don't think I'm the smartest, I don't think I'm the prettiest, I don't think I have the best, most popular personality, I don't have the money or resources to make these gloriously fabulous AI videos. My videos are very simple, and yet God's breathing on it. And so I just want to encourage you, as you are building whatever it is God's telling you to build, you got to get your own insecurity out of the way. Every single day I fight insecurity that there's other people doing it better. But it's the Spirit of the Lord that breathes on something. It's not your own abilities. Okay, so we're going to back up to another page here. I got too many pages. Okay. So I work 20 hours a week for Kingdom Reign. And I've been working for Kingdom Reign a little over 3 years. And for the first, there was a 9-month period where I had picked up a second job, and it gave me the finances to be able to move into my cottage, my little house. That was a huge testimony. But then right when I moved into my house, I lost that job. And for a couple years now, I have not been able to replace that income. So this is where the story is going to pick up, because God has told me to start building when I have been in a financial deficit. And I went to career fair. I was passing around my resume. I was looking for jobs on Indeed. I was looking for nanny jobs. I was kind of just open to anything because I need money. And I had a little bit of savings from my job that had come to an end. And eventually it totally ran out, and I went into freak out mode. When I was full-time missions, people knew to give to me, and that was still a faith walk. But I'm like, you know what? Someone's going to remember to give me money at some point, and it's all going to work out. But in this season, people didn't have the expectation to give to me because they think, oh, Sheridan's working for Kingdom Range. She's doing this and that. So it was this season where it was like a silent killer season where I was going into the negative real quick, and I couldn't for the life of me find a job that would pay well enough to sustain me. I would have had to work way too many hours a week, and it would have burned me out. The only thing I could find was like a minimum wage job. And I'm like, I don't know if you guys know about inflation, but minimum wage does not sustain you if you have bills. And so I was praying and fasting and praying and fasting, and Lord, what do I do? And applying for jobs and taking odd jobs. And I just started having dreams. But they didn't tell me the things I wanted to know. I had a couple dreams about sewing over the last couple years. One of the dreams, the Lord spoke to me in my sleep, and he said, the principle of sowing and reaping is a godly principle. Even if you only have $5, sow it into the ground, and it will reap a harvest. And I'm like, Lord, that's great, but I'm now going thousands into the hole now. I don't know what to do. And I had another dream. Give, be generous, give. And guys, I'm tithing this whole time. Even when it costs me, I'm tithing. I never quit tithing because I knew enough about the principle. I had another dream where God said, your money goes farther into the kingdom. Give it into the kingdom and it will reap a harvest. And I would say, but Lord, do you see that I'm going into debt and I only have the income from 20 hours a week? And he would just say, so, do you trust me? And I'm gonna be really honest to the ladies in the room. This is about the point where I wanted a husband to come rescue me. Because I wanted an easy way out. And I'm like, oh, if only a man would just come provide for me right now. And the hilarious thing is, I have an amazing resume. I really could go out and get a great job. Notice how I'm saying, I could do this. But in hindsight, the Lord spoke to me and he said, I need to break self-sufficiency in you. And I felt like the Lord was inviting me into a place of being stripped bare to invite me into greater dependence on him. He is my source. If I'm going into a missions trajectory, I cannot depend on my own resources, financially or otherwise. He has to be my source. And so I believe God allowed me to feel bankrupt to bring me to a point of desperation where I'm like, okay, Lord, your will be done. And at one point, I had accepted a job. It was a special needs job. I've done things like that plenty of times before. And right when I accepted the job and was going through training, I was miserable. I hated it. I'm like, Lord, I cannot stand this. I don't want this job. I won't have time to create and do YouTube stuff. It was just an ick. And I was praying. I'm like, I don't know what to do because I am desperate for money. Because I don't like it when people are foolish with money. I don't like it when people are irresponsible. I do not condone laziness. I do not condone unnecessary debt. I don't condone frivolous spending. I try to be responsible. And so I took a job I didn't want, that I despised, and I had a heart-to-heart with the Lord. Lord, what do I do? Because I hate this job on my inside, and I know it's not right. And I had a dream that night. What do you know? Another dream. And God said to me, you need to be creating. And I knew he was talking about creating content for the internet. You need to be creating. Turn this job down. I have something else for you. And that was the line in the sand moment of surrender. I'm like, okay, I'm going to release this job. And at that moment, I'm like, I'm done with the job search. Only one other time in my life could I not get a job, and it was when God was calling me to go on staff with YWAM. I applied for jobs everywhere because I had student loans, and my family was like, you should pay off your loans first before doing missions. That was the only other time in my life where every single legitimate job door was closed. And it repeated this time. I could not find a job for the life of me. And finally, I'm like, the Lord wants me to quit looking for a job. I've been trying to do it to please people because people are watching me, but I have to quit, and I have to say, Lord, what do you want to do to provide for me? And then all of a sudden, God said, what's the last thing I told you to do? And so I started going back through my dream journal over several years, and a light bulb moment hit me. And back to back to back, I started seeing again and again and again and again and again, God had told me what to do, but in this moment, it clicked. So I'm going to take you through my history with God via dreams, and I hope it will speak something to you. God told me it's time to step out as a digital missionary and an international missionary. I had a dream. I have had so many dreams where God has said, invite people to partner with what you're doing. Invite them to sow into what you're doing, creating online content. Tell people, pay me to do this as my job. Like, I'm having dreams about this for several years. I even, I had one dream when I first came back to Tulsa. I don't know where it is, but I know it from memory. This one dream, I was sitting at a round table seeking counsel on what to do. And this YouTuber, he's a YouTuber in real life, he looks at me and he says, basically, your YouTube channel is fine now, but when you start financially investing in what you're doing, you're going to have exponential growth and increase. And he gave me a budget. He said, you're going to need to hire a part-time editor to start editing your videos, and you're going to need to start paying for software and equipment, so on and so forth. And he said, when the time comes when you do that, you're going to have exponential growth. I had that dream a couple years ago. I have had no landing place for it until right now. And by the way, I am, by faith, paying a part-time editor and onboarding them right now. But I think I'm going to jump to this dream. God speaks to me in my sleep. He may speak to you differently. It's how he speaks to me. In one of my moments of desperation when I said, Lord, I don't know what to do about finances. I am bankrupt. I am at the end of myself. And he said, it's time to step out and start your ministry and build your business. I woke up, and Rick, I'm going to have you pull up that song. I woke up hearing this song in my spirit. I didn't even know what this song was or what it was from. I found out it's from the soundtrack of the movie Wicked, which I'm not advertising the movie, but I have heard this song for months in my sleep. And several times in the night when I've been asking God a question, I'll wake up with the song in my heart. One night in particular, I said, Lord, I need you to give me a sign that you want me to step out as a digital missionary. And I woke up hearing these lyrics. And so as he plays this song, hear it prophetically. It's a long song, but I wanted you to hear the full version, because every time I hear this song, I weep, because God has told me, you are going to start defying gravity in this season, and you are going to walk on water, and you are going to step out. You're rejecting the old system, and I'm leading you into supernatural financing for your new season. So hear this song. Hear the Lord singing it over you of what he's calling you to do. Okay, go ahead and play it, Mr. Rick.
Why can you stay calm for once instead of flying off the handle? I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your cause forever. I hope you think you're clever.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition. So though I can't imagine how, I hope you're happy right now.
Molly, listen to me. Just say you're sorry. You can still be with the wizard once you've worked and waited for. You can have all you ever wanted.
I know, but I don't want it. No, I can't want it.
She's rejecting the old system to step out into the unknown and go a new direction.
Something has changed within me. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's escape. Too late for second guessing. Too late to go back to sleep. It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and leave. It's time to try defying gravity. I think I'll try defying gravity, and you can't pull me down.
Can't I make you understand? You're having delusions of grandeur.
I'm through accepting limits,
through.
'cause someone says they're so. Some things I cannot change, but till I try, I'll never know. Too long I've been afraid of losing love. I guess I've lost. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. I'd sooner die defying gravity. Kiss me goodbye, defying gravity, and you can't pull me down. Come with me. Think of what we could do together.
Hear this from the Holy Spirit. Unlimited. Unlimited.
Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Glinda, dreams the way we planned them.
If we work in tandem, there is no fight we cannot win. Just you and I defying gravity. With you and I defying gravity.
They'll never bring us down.
And even after you have to walk alone, the Lord's going to help you to take the risk alone. And that's what God had to help me settle in my own heart. I'm taking this road alone, but I'm still going to jump.
I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this.
You too. I hope it brings you bliss.
I really hope you get it and you don't live to regret it. I hope you're happy in the end. I hope you're happy, my friend.
No! Leave her alone! She hasn't done anything wrong! I'm the one you want! I'm the one you want! It's me! It's me! So
And that's what my father spoke to me when he said it's time to take the plunge and do missions. Again and again and again and again in my sleep. I've never seen the movie. I don't know that song, but now I know it by heart. I've listened to it countless times because the Holy Spirit has said, you are unlimited. You are called to fly. We are called to soar on wings like eagles. We're called to walk on water. And we have to reject the world that is trying to reject us. The world is going to tell you, you are crazy. Your vision is crazy because they are used to walking on the ground and God has called you to fly. It's a different reality. It's understandable that they don't understand. They can't go where you're going. You have to have crazy faith. And at the point of my desperation, when I finally surrendered and I said, Lord, not my will, but yours be done, he said, now take the leap. And so I am building a business for my online platforms, and I am financially investing even when I don't have money because he said, do it. At one point when I was praying about not knowing what to do, one night I had another dream, and God said, maybe if God isn't speaking, it's because he trusts how you'll respond in a situation. And God said, do the last thing I told you to do. How many of you already have a vision from God and you've been too scared to do it? What is the last thing God actually told you to do that if you were brave and courageous enough, you would do it? In this season of me reconciling that God has called me to be a missionary and to start a business, crap hit the fan, basically. My car broke down and it needed major repairs. It was already an older car and required more maintenance. And so I was using my dad's car for a little bit, and I was just like, Lord, financially, I am hurting. I don't have money to buy clothes, much less deal with these major things. And then, so I was using my dad's car for like a couple weeks while we were figuring out what I was going to do with my car. And then one day my laptop crashed. And the same day my laptop crashed, I was driving my dad's car after work, and it stopped in the middle of the road. And thankfully, that was an easy fix for his car. But the same day the laptop crashed, his car broke down. And that same week, my bed left my house. Guys, being a missionary, I did not own a bed for like 6 or 7 years. And you have no idea the level of instability that comes with the lifestyle of missions. But having a security blanket like a bed, it's a very meaningful thing because I own something. It's my space. And anyways, someone had kind of given me a bed and they needed it back. It was totally understandable, the reason behind it, but I was devastated when the bed left my house because my car had broken down and my laptop had just crashed. And here God's talking to me about supernatural funding and me stepping out in missions. And I'm like, Lord, I was just, and I was walking around my house weeping because my bed had left my house. I had just decorated my bedroom. It was so cute. And now it looked awkward and empty. And I'm devastated because my security blanket was ripped out from under me. And instantly, while I'm weeping over my bed, I hear the Lord say, turn that bedroom into a recording studio for your YouTube channel. I had never had a permanent space to record videos. I always had to set up and tear down every time I record, and that's a lot of work. And I knew the Lord said, this room that was your bedroom is now going to be your recording studio. Start building it out. And when I was praying about, Lord, all this crap just happened financially. Like, I know you'll provide, but I'm already in the negative right now. I don't know what to do. And I had a dream one night, and God said, wait for God to make your enemies your footstool. All the crap that had happened in my health, my finances, so on and so forth, I am going to praise, and I'm going to wait for God to make my enemies my footstool. And so I just started praising God. Okay, my enemies are about to be my footstool. It's going to happen. And so one by one, The miracles started coming in. Psalm 110:1, the Lord said to my Lord, sit at the place of honor at my right hand until I humble your enemies. Until I humble your enemies, making them a footstool under your feet. And in that moment, when God was speaking to me, wait for me to make your enemies your footstool, I heard very clearly, God said, you passed the test. There's been 3 times in my life where God has told me I passed the test. I got to tell you one other quick dream because I need you to know sometimes you're in a narrow place and it's a test. When I was I had just come back to Tulsa from YWAM and I was still broke as a joke. Guys, I have 2 master's degrees. For me to be broke kind of feels like a slap in the face because I can go out and make a lot of money in the arm of my flesh. I know how to make money, but I also know obedience to God is more important than money. And God can give me money in a moment, but what is he saying about what this season holds and what he wants me to put my hand to in this season? So the last year or 2 of my time at YWAM and the first year back in Tulsa, I was just angry. I was very pissed off about my financial situation because I know that kingdom people get to have wealth. It's a revelation deep inside of me. I'm also entrepreneurial. I know God has put the ability to create wealth inside of me. And so there's just this anger of being a poor person because I wasn't born to live poor. Like, I know I wasn't born to live poor. So why the heck am I poor? And one night I had a dream. September 5th, 2023. In my dream, several people came up to me back to back and gave me prophetic words. This one lady came up to me and she prophesied to me. She said, your finances are going to change. God was testing you with little to see how you would steward money. And you were so faithful to give here and there. You were being tested to see how you would do with little. You passed the test, and you are about to see an abundance. You are going to see an increase of finances. And in the dream, I started weeping. And the lady prophesying over me teared up. And she ended up telling me about a season in her life where she had lost everything. Her and her husband, things got repossessed, and just her own emotions about her own financial, failure. And I feel like God wants to encourage you, just like the widows might, if you will release what little is in your hand, God will restore you financially. So whether you're like me and you are putting groceries on a credit card, or you're like the lady in the dream who prophesied to me, whose house and car had been repossessed, there's a promise from God in this. If you will make the Lord over what little you have, he's going to restore you, because it was never supposed to be about our own ability to provide for ourselves. God provides for the sparrows. He provides for every minute creature in creation. He was always supposed to be our source. It was never about our own ability. Does that mean we're lazy Christians who don't do anything and don't work? No, because that's dumb. But God is our source, and we have to put him back as Lord. He is Lord over the harvest. I am not Lord over the harvest. I am only responsible for putting a seed in the ground. I do not cause the harvest. I put the seed in the ground. He is Lord over the harvest. He is the one who provides, but we have to be faithful to release our seed. You cannot expect a harvest in any area of your life where you have not put seed in the ground. Okay, so I'm going to jump through these. Miracle 1. A very generous entity paid for half of a brand new high-quality laptop that will allow me to do YouTube, and they are allowing me to make payments to them on the remainder of my laptop. So my laptop that crashed, check. Miracle 2. A bed literally showed up on my doorstep, and I did not know it was coming. And I'm not going to look at the person in the room who knew it was coming, but you know who you are. Check. Miracle 3, a family member paid to have my car air conditioner fixed in the middle of summer. Guys, I was tired of smelling like BO driving with the windows down in the middle of summer. It sucks, especially if you're a woman and your hair gets all greasy and stringy because it's flying in the wind. I know it's first world problems, but hey, I don't want to look homeless showing up to work. It's a thing. Jesus paid it all. Miracle 4. I've been sowing, and I've just said, Lord, there's this one remaining thing. I know that you paid for the AC in my car, but isn't it time for me to have a new car for my new season that will be better suited for my needs moving forward? And through very unexpected circumstances that I won't go into, someone ended up giving me a car. It's the 2015 Kia Sorento, black SUV on the parking lot. Go look at it and smile to God for me. I thank God for it every day. I didn't pay $1 for it. The only thing I paid for was to have some new keys made. That's literally it. And my insurance didn't even really go up. It was the craziest thing. I found out I was overpaying for insurance, so when I did the car swap, the insurance ended up being about the same anyways, even though it's a much bigger car than my last one. I had a dream one night where God told me, you have access to provision from your inheritance, your heavenly inheritance. Hear that for yourself. You have access to provision from your heavenly inheritance. And I'm going to start telling you about what I'm building right now and get into the particulars. But before that, I just want to challenge you. What is God asking you to do? What is he asking you to build? Where is he asking you to sow seed? Can you sow more seed? Can you sow more seed? Because God told me in a dream, your money goes further in the kingdom. Sow your money. It goes further in the kingdom. Whatever you could waste your money on, just making your life better, it goes so much further. And it's not just the financial return. It's the investment on lives. Let's talk about what I'm building. 1 year ago, God spoke to me and he said, all these influencers are a flash in the pan. They are here today and gone tomorrow. You are slowly building what will last. And that started the journey of me intentionally taking steps towards building out my ministry. I wasn't going to say this, but God's order, God's timing is perfect. And all the while where I've been like, oh, if only I could have a husband to rescue me and pull my butt out of financial trouble and blah, 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 blah. When I was going back through my dream journal to find all the things God had said to me about missions and building, 4 times in the last 2 years, God spoke to me in my sleep and he said, you will build your ministry before you get married and start a family. You need to build that first. I'm a one-track mind person. I give 100% of my focus to one thing. God gave me grace to build now, and he said I'll start a family later. So I don't know if there's some things that you've been experiencing maybe delay in your life. It might be different from me, but his timing is perfect. And if you will just submit to the process, he will be faithful to you. I'm looking at a certain friend. He will be faithful to you. His timing in your life is perfect. Can I have someone pass these out to everyone in the room? Or at least the adults in the room. If you run out, you could just do like one per family. There might be enough for everyone in the room. We'll see. I, Sheridan Pogue, am launching out as a digital and international missionary, and I am inviting you to partner with me. I will eventually resume intermittent international travel. At the moment, the focus is establishing the digital platform. Just so you know, international-wise, God's given me a number of dreams about Israel and Ukraine. So the Slavic world is still on my heart moving forward. I've been knocking on so many doors for Israel. I've probably had like 7 or 8 dreams at this point about going to Israel. So I know some way, shape, or form, my butt is getting over to Jerusalem. Hey, hey. So anyways, I will sow in tears, but I will reap a harvest of joy because my booty is going over there. Mary Beth understands. Okay. What is a digital missionary? You know, the Great Commission calls us to go and make disciples of all nations. And today, the largest mission field is the digital world. With billions of people spending hours daily on YouTube and other platforms, the internet is now one of the most strategic mission fields. So my goal is to reach people who may never attend a church or meet a missionary in person, both with the gospel, but also with content that addresses hot topic issues from a faith perspective, helping disciple people into a biblical worldview. I want people to enter into the kingdom of heaven, but I don't want their minds to stay corrupted by the world. I want to disciple their minds, the way they think, their value systems, how they vote. I want to disciple them so that their gender ideology conforms to Christ. I want to disciple them so the way they think about money or politics conforms to Christ. It's not just enough to say a prayer of salvation if our country is going to hell in a handbasket and every other Western country is following America. And the great thing about the digital world, I have people tuning in from random countries all over the place. Yeah, this guy was like, I'm watching your video from Kenya right now. I'm like, praise God, because I'm sitting in Broken Arrow. Mary Beth said last week, passive Christianity is over. Passive Christianity will not change a nation. God is calling us to great boldness. We have to turn in our fear of man card, and we have to exchange it for a fear of God card. The fear of the Lord is what is compelling me to say the hard things. There's nothing I will not talk about on my channel. And I was already moving in this direction before Charlie Kirk's passing, but something about his passing, I'm like, it left such a void. This is the time for kingdom voices to rise up. God has called us to be salt and light. I prepared lots of great notes on salt and light. Go read Matthew 5 later. But are you being salt? Are you being light? Do people look at you and want what you have? Are you drawing people into the kingdom? Are you offering anything that is tangible that makes people want what you have? If not, you're not doing your job. Every one of us has an evangelistic calling. Even if you are not an evangelist, he has called you to keep your light uncovered. Don't put a basket over your head. And he has called you to be flavorful and to be the preservative. Our country needs flavor, and it needs preservative, and it needs light. Are you evangelizing with your life? If not, you might want to start doing it. Okay, so here's the practicals. Brother Scott has helped me to start an LLC. I don't know if Scott's in the room, but thank you, Scott. I started my LLC back in December. It's called Cedar Global Ventures, and it's going to house all of my media and mission stuff moving forward. I am knee-deep in figuring out how to run a business, and if you are knowledgeable about running a business, come find me, because I have 1,000 questions. I have started onboarding a part-time editor by faith. Ooh, y'all. I was given a Christmas gift of $500, and I was going to set it aside for a cruise because I've been daydreaming about a cruise for several years. And here is my I'm angry because I'm poor thing. In my mind, poor people don't go on vacations. When I'm rich, the first thing I'm going to do is go on a vacation. I'm being so honest, but you're coming into the real thoughts that I don't normally tell people. And I'm like, Lord, I just want to go on a vacation because that means you've been faithful to me in the area of finances, and you're going to provide for me to go on a vacation because I want to stick my toes in the sand. Anyways, the Lord said that money you were going to go on a cruise with, that's your first month to pay your editor. And it was sowing in tears, kind of. I'm like, okay, I'm going to invest it. Come to find out, a family member's paying for me to go on a cruise at the end of this year. My family doesn't cruise. This is my mom's side family. My mom's mom was just like, you know what, we're going to take a family cruise next Christmas. So it's already paid for and scheduled. But that was around the time that God said, you need to sow your cruise money into your editor. And I told my editor, I said, listen, I have $500 to start us out with. I don't have money for next month. I will always be transparent with you, but we're going to pray in the money. And as money keeps coming in, I'm going to hire you to do stuff. And so in the middle of the month, someone reached out to me about an odd job. It was not a job I wanted to take. It would have messed with my schedule. It would have been demanding. It would have taken the majority of a week. And the Lord said, look into it, because that's going to be your second month of paying your editor. And so I looked into it, and I said, you know, about how much are you going to pay for this? $500, the amount I needed for month 2 to pay my editor. And just a little bit of details on why I'm paying an editor. People have no idea how much time it takes to research for a video, film the video, edit the video, create the social media post, do all of the interaction with people who are commenting on your post. Like, the list goes on and on and on of all the tasks associated with one video. It takes so much time. And I can maybe post like one long format video a month at my own speed because it's just too much time. Right now, my goal with my new editor is every other week. We're not quite in this groove yet, but every other week, I want her to post a long format video. And on the in-between weeks, she's helping me build up other systems. We are exploring AI editing technology. She's helping me get on TikTok and other social media platforms. We're going to look at different kinds of software that will help us ramp up our game. And so it's a slow building, but I felt like God said, you are slowly building what will last. Take your time, do it right. I downloaded an accounting software, and guys, I do not know anything about accounting, so if you know that, come help me, because, but by faith, I'm investing this. Hear this for what you're doing. By faith, start investing in your thing. Sorry. I think if I missed anything. Oh, this is a fun fact. This is not related to anything I just said, but just today during service, I hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Yes. That may not seem like a lot to some, but I just started over on social media, and I don't have that many friends on Facebook, so not many people are like coming into my channel. So the fact that I have 1,000 subscribers, it's a turning point, and it's the Lord breathing on it and saying, we're taking off right now, because like 300 or 400 of those subscribers have come in the last couple months. Like, it's happened so quickly. I started my channel almost 6 years ago. In the last couple months, several hundred subscribers have come in. It's a lot quicker to go from 1,000 to 10,000 than it is to go from 0 to 1,000. Once you have an established credibility, the algorithm kicks in and it starts climbing. All right. I have given you a big packet. Don't be overwhelmed by it, but I'm just going to briefly tell you a couple things about it. I am fundraising for my monthly needs, but also for the software and for hiring on an editor. Because I work for the church 20 hours a week, the other 20 hours a week, I'm asking you to consider partnering with me to be a digital missionary the other half of my work week. And so I have listed some numbers on there. I need about $1,500 a month to cover remaining living expenses. Now, guys, the game is going to change once I monetize, because when the algorithm kicks in and my influence grows, eventually money's going to start coming in. So right now, I'm investing money, but eventually it will start paying me. It's just a matter of time. And then I need about $440 a month to cover some operational costs that I have listed there, and $700 a month for the part-time administrator. A family member asked me, go to the second piece of paper in here. A family member asked me, like, do you have a wish list if we want to maybe partner at a certain dollar amount per month? What are some very practical things that we could sponsor? I'm just going to tell you a couple of them. It's the 2026 support guide. If you could contribute $10 a month, that covers my Microsoft 365 subscription. That's where I store all my videos in the cloud. That's where I do all my research. If you could do $23 a month, that is the Adobe Premiere Pro subscription that I'm paying for, so my editor has the right software to be able to edit the videos. If you are just super well off and you're like, you know what, I want to pay Sheridan's $100 laptop payment. My laptop is how I do literally everything. Or if you have a crazy rich uncle, or you have billions, $700 a month would cover literally a whole month of my video editor. And when I say video editor, they are also doing AI stuff and social media posting and scheduling posts. So it's not just video editing, it's helping me run the back end of my channel so that I can devote my time to creating more content. I get so bogged down in the weeds of the back end stuff, it slows me down. But if all I have to do is create videos, I can create videos exponentially quicker because I can film a couple at a time and just send them straight off to the editor. So this pulls me out of the weeds. And if your crazy rich uncle wants to go further, $1,000 a month covers my house, which is also my home office, which is also my recording studio. So there's that. For those who would like to know more, first of all, there is zero pressure to participate. This is only if the Lord is speaking to you. Please don't feel any pressure. Kingdom Reign is very generous and has agreed to let me continue receiving mission support through Kingdom Reign, so it is all tax deductible. There's a QR code in there, but there's also a link in there. It's basically you go to the church website and you click on the giving link, and you can click recurring, but on the drop-down menu, you just click Sheridan Pogue Mission Fund. So with that, my ask is two things. I want you to take some time in prayer and ask the Lord if you've dropped the ball anywhere in your life, and if there's something he wants you to pick up and start building, or if there's an area he wants you to start sowing. As far as I'm concerned, my only ask is that you would ask the Lord, is this work Sheridan's doing something that I'm supposed to be involved with? And if so, there's basically a partnership page. It's the very last page. You can rip it out, fill it off, fill it out, and then put it in the treasure chest. You don't have to do it today. You can think on it, chew on it, zero pressure. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to share all of my random thoughts and lots of dreams. And thank you for supporting me as I step out into missions round 2. Oh yeah, my channel is Sheridan Ann, all one word. And it's literally youtube.com/Sheridan, SHERIDAN, ANNE. No spaces. Sheridan and Ann are together. I can also show you if you want to come find me afterwards. I meant to throw that on there, and I didn't. But the best way you can support me is by subscribing or sharing videos or telling people about my channel, or in-kind donations. If you happen to know of a photographer or website designer or, those kind of things, holler at your girl, because this girl is building the plane as she's flying it. Okay, that's all.